Hello everybody, X and E back here again today with some more Team Fortress 2 gameplay. Today I'm going to be showcasing the Natasha Heavy using the Natasha minigun, on the new CP map Powerhouse, which is the first 3 control point capture or control point map. I'll talk more about that later, but first I want to talk about the Heavy's Natasha, or the Heavy's buffs. Changes that the Heavy got, let's just put it that way. So the Natasha, it's an alright weapon before. It does less damage than the minigun, it takes longer to spin up, and, well, it's not as good as just the default minigun, but none of them ever were before. But now it has the amazing stat of 20% damage reduction while you're spun up, which turns the Heavy into an unbelievable tank. Because before, a fully charged headshot from a sniper would one-shot a Heavy no matter if you were overhealed or anything, and the Heavy could just drop, the medic would be alone. Now, a fully charged headshot will be reduced by 20%, so it'll take 2. Even if the sniper's been standing there for 5 minutes charging up this headshot waiting for you, you'll still survive it. Well, that's pretty incredible. I mean, in my opinion at least. I'm pretty sure it's game changing. And the Brass Beast got the same change, but it's still the Brass Beast, and you have to stand still for a while you're using it. It's the Brass Beast, I mean, so I mean, it's nice that it has the damage resistance, so at least you're standing there with some protection, but I also don't think it gives you melee protection. I don't know, because when I was playing, it makes like a chinking noise whenever you get hit, but I didn't hear that sound effect when I got hit by melee, so I'm not sure about that one though. Don't quote me on that. That's just my own theory on this weapon. So moving on, other weapons I'm using with them, I'm using the Sandwich and the gloves of steel, whatever they're called, because I don't know, I felt like damage resistance was the theme of this loadout here. So I mean, I have a Sandwich to heal myself, I've got the Natasha, it's like a shield, and I've got the fist, so I just have more damage reduction now. That's the theory behind this loadout. So with this new Heavy loadout, or these new Heavy guns, you can just stand at the front line. It's not like you're gonna walk into a room and there's gonna be 3 soldiers, a demo man, and a pyro, and you're just gonna get destroyed. No, you have a chance of living. You're still probably gonna die in that scenario because, you know, you're a Heavy, you're kind of fat, and you don't move that much. But there's a chance for you, which is nice, I guess. I don't play all that much Heavy, but this weapon's like getting me into it. Some other Heavy changes that I wanted to mention, I mean, they're not gonna be shown in this video because I'm obviously using the Natasha. I already mentioned the Brass Beast, but the Tommy Slob now deploys 10% faster than it did before, which is cool because it just kind of drops down and starts shooting. And it also has a smaller spread, so bullets go a lot more of a line now, it's a pretty cool change. What else? The Dalcos bar, the chocolate bar, can now be dropped, and you can heal yourself more with it, which is always nice. It makes that weapon or item viable, and you're not just always gonna have a Sandwich on now. I mean, I might use that in the future, but I'm not using it in this one. And then, oh, the eviction notice got a huge change. Like, I wish I was showing that off here, but I'm obviously not, because now the eviction notice, whenever you hit someone, just with the eviction notice, you get a speed boost, which is pretty cool, because the Heavy, you know, is usually a really slow guy. Same thing as I was saying about Spy in my last video, is going fast is a thing you want to do in Team Fortress 2. That's why, you know, the Scout and the Soldier and the Dome Man are like a lot of people's favorite classes. Why the Big Burner change is such a huge thing. But now a Heavy can just put on the eviction notice and start punching people and zooming around. Or you can use it as an escape method. It's a really cool weapon. Maybe I'll do something with it later, but not right now. Right now we're going to play the old traditional Heavy. Just walking at people, getting... The damage reduction doesn't help in a situation like that. I mean, you're gonna walk 2 scouts at me when I'm burning, low health. I can't do anything against that. So those are the big changes to Heavy, other than his miniguns all doing more damage to level 2 and level 3 sentries, which I think you'll see later in these clips when we're trying to fight some sentry guns on the last point. So now I want to talk more about this map, Powerhouse. So, Powerhouse is like your Badlands, your not Junction. Junction's a terrible attack defense map. Your Process, your Snakewater, all those 5 CP maps, except they took off. I guess you could say they took out the second points, like where the Spire would be on Badlands, which is an odd choice. in my opinion, because now it feels more like a King of the Hill map. Because with King of the Hill maps, you have the middle point, then you usually have a middle area, and then the spawn areas. Except if you're playing on a map like Koth King, which doesn't have like the middle area and you go straight to their spawn pretty much, but that's a different story. So it's a lot, it feels like a mixture of King of the Hill and control point, or capture points, which is odd, especially because this map also feels a lot like TC Hydro, Territory Control Hydro, which was a map that's, it's a Valve map, it was released originally with the game, which is actually taken out of rotation. I really enjoy it, but I feel like it suffers from a few of the problems Hydro had, namely like, or a problem that a lot of earlier maps suffered from in Team Fortress 2, which is sentry guns being really good. Because later in this video, you're going to see us start attacking their last point, but they're going to have like 2 or 3 sentry guns set up with people guarding them, and we really can't do, like, we're pushing with an Uber charge and we can't really do anything against it. So I don't know if that was just like the team I was on, or like maybe just me being bad, but for the main part, I feel like this map has a bit of a balancing problem with sentries. But other than that, I really love mid-fights on here because you have that tunnel in the back, or you can kind of loop around. And then there's a lot of water, so pyros aren't that effective, but you know, you want to rock a Neon Annihilator here. You can go right on ahead and do it. So, what else about this map is important to me is this area right here that we're fighting on right now feels like it could be a second point almost, or it feels like the middle area from a King of the Hill map, because on King of the Hill maps, let's think Viaduct. Everyone knows Viaduct, right? So Viaduct, you've got the midpoint, then you've got like a second area, which is where the houses are and all that. Then you have to walk through the gates to get to the spawn areas, which makes it a bit harder to start spawn camping, I guess. Same with Lakeside has a middle area too, in between the midpoint and the spawn. So it feels a lot like that. Also, unlike other control point maps, there is no forward spawn here. So every time my team, like someone dies, we have to walk all the way up to this point again. Which makes engineers like really important on this map. I mean, the only reason we probably hold that middle point in this round is because we have an engineer setting up a teleporter this whole time. So, well, engineers' teleporters are always useful, but... So I think right here is when we start getting to the stalemate of this map. We can't push onto their last point, they can't push out, because they've got a bunch of engineers. And we can't destroy these sentry guns. There's too many sentries. I mean, here we walk in, I start focusing on a soldier, I think. Or I can't even take down the sentry from that far away. I probably should have put my minigun away. And here I start focusing on the soldier. There's another sentry getting set up. And I think that's about the closest we're going to get to taking that point this round. But I think we still have like 6 more minutes of like us failing to get this point. So I hope you like watching us lose like Uber pushes. It's pretty interesting, I know. So I wanted to talk about a few more things in this update I may not have mentioned before in the previous videos. I wanted to mention the facts that, well, some of the weapons got changed that I really want to show off, but I haven't had a chance to yet. Like the Vaccinator is incredible. My, the Handsome Cow, one of my friends, he was in a lobby the other day with someone, with a medic using a Vaccinator. And then, he said it's pretty insane what you can do. I was testing it out in the server, just on some random server. I think nothing really good happened. I didn't really record it, so can't show you that footage. But when you, when you use it, you can put the bubbles on everyone on your team, or you can have one heavy with all the bubbles on it. So he pretty much, if you have a heavy using the Natasha and you're vaccinating him, he will have 75% reduction to all damage types. Mixed up with Natasha, I'm gonna guess they just add, and that's a 95% damage resistance on the heavy to all damage types for about 3 seconds. And you have 4 vaccinators, they build up really fast, so you can do that for about 12 seconds at that point, which is insane. I mean, you want to talk about the heavy being a tank, that is just the heavy being a tank. And it's also great because say you're playing, I feel like it's a weapon that could be used a lot more in King of the Hill, because you don't really need an Uber push as much, and you can run up the hill on, say, Viaduct, and just pop your Vaccinator on a teammate, or on all your teammates, have them all running with all the damage resistance types for 3 seconds, then keep popping more Vaccinator charges if you have them. And I feel like the Vaccinator can really be a game-changing item now. I also wanted to talk about picking up weapons, because that's a mechanic that's really, really awesome. I mean, being able, as a soldier, to run around and then just pick up some other soldier's rocket launcher after you've shot your 4. So, say you're playing a match on a 5 CP map. So let's say we're on Badlands here, and you're a soldier. You jump across to their shack, and you shoot all. Say you jump, that's 1 rocket. Then you shoot 3 more, take out like a medic, a pyro, and then you use your last rocket to take out a soldier. The soldier had 3 of his rockets loaded because he just did a rocket jump or something. You pick up his rocket launcher, you now have 3 shots. And you can just keep going with that. Like, you don't need to stop and reload because you have 3 shots now. Which I think is a pretty incredible one, especially if you're playing a King of the Hill map. There's usually a lot of scouts running around. Or that's what I experienced yesterday playing on a Koth Sweden, the new Japanese themed one. Because I was running around, and whenever I got a kill, and I unloaded my gun, I could always find another scatter gun on the ground, or a Force of Nature, or a Soda Popper, and I would just be changing up my playstyle on the fly, which is the main reason I love the weapon dropping system. I mean, it doesn't apply much as heavy because it's a minigun. A minigun's a minigun, really. But when you have like, when you're playing as a scout, there's so many different types of his scatter gun. There's the scatter gun, the Soda Popper, the Baby's Face Blaster, the Force of Nature, and the Shortstop. All like completely different playstyles, and you can just change it up on the fly, which is, I don't know if that seems incredible to anyone else. But the one thing I have a problem with this dropping system is that enemies, so if I killed an enemy medic while he has his medigun out, my medic could pick up his Uber. So that's cool, I guess, for like public games, just like on a Valve server. But I'm worried about like how that'll affect like something, because I'm really into watching competitive. Like Deutschland is coming up. It's a European LAN tournament for Highlander, and I'm really excited for that. But I think it's gonna be really cool to see some of like the meta games that come out of this, like, because it's changing up a lot of things, which is really cool. Like, maybe we'll see some Vaccinator plays. Once again, jumping on this sentry here. I mean, you've seen us push this last a few times now. And I think this video is starting to come to a close. The clips are going to end. I think this is the last push we had. So, I threw something after the end credit. I'll see you all later. Enjoy the update.